It's an interesting book, and I would say is the outpouring of an agonized heart. It's an outpouring of a person who has felt pain. When you feel pain, you start asking certain questions about yourself. And the most profound question you ask is, why are you around and what is the reason for your existence? And that is an existential question that people ask all the time, and it becomes accentuated when you feel pain. You feel pain when you are lonely, when you are hurt, or when suddenly you feel depressed, not knowing what to do next. You feel pain when you don't know what you want to do with your life, where you want to go. I think most of us go through that kind of a pain sometime in our life. And it's a very agonizing period when you start asking some very fundamental questions. And that fundamental question, along with the fact that we are all mortal, makes us philosophize and look towards spirituality and try to understand. So I would say this book is a journey of many people who try to find the reason for the existence, the reason for what they are and how they feel, the emotions that they undergo, and it is the reflection of a agonizing search, I would say, of the author himself to find out why he is around. And therefore I think I would interpret his views about man being selfish, man being self-centered in that particular respect. But inside us, we are faced with a survival instinct. Life is a quest for survival. It's a quest for survival because we have to live, and when to live, you compete for resources. And of course, there is much misery. There are many people who fall behind, many people who are ahead. So it is a matrix. And in this matrix, you find out that many people do very, very differently. Many people become dominant. And at the heart of it, there is this urge for power and domination. And this urge for power and domination, I think, Hari, determines a human being. The dominant thing is the urge for power. And that's very natural. Because in nature too, animals fight for survival and fight for power over others. And that's the way nature has created everybody. And that's the instinct lies in us. And however we bring in a veneer of civilization, civility and thinking, that at the heart of it still remains. And that urge leads to great creativity, that leads to destruction, that leads to great love, that leads to great affection, that leads to great want, and keeps you going. Because if you come to the conclusion that the end of life is mortality, you will not undergo the process of life. So somewhere you got to stop rationalizing about the reason for existence and just enjoy what life has to offer to you in all its manifest, and stop asking certain questions because there are no answers. Because these answers have been tried for by so many people over so many centuries, and I don't think anybody has got an answer. But the fact is, life is an experience. Enjoy it while you can, including the pain, the joy, the love, the affection, the compassion, the suffering, and the agony that brings along with it. Because in the end of it is all a bundle, and the day comes when you have to go on your own lonely journey, like Yudhishthira does in the end of the Mahabharata, and to meet your maker. And what you answer your maker, only you know and your maker knows. If you don't even know whether the maker exists. So there is a conflict, and I think, and this has to be resolved. And in this conflict, the fundamental question that you ask, which Hari has tried to put forth in my interpretation, is the question that he writes on page 173. The life they were now living was not theirs, and thus not for their individual gratification, but for something greater. Now the difference between the animal kingdom and the human civilization is the fact that human beings try to do something greater than what they need. And the first greatest thing is the protection of everybody else, especially the weak and the indisposed. So when you come to the conclusion that the journey that you make in your life is a journey not only for you, but for others to make the world a better place, you get a new surge of energy, and that motivates you, and that possibly enables you to do greater things than you would do otherwise. And if you're able to do that, get beyond your basic need, then you do things that you don't even know you're capable of. And throughout history, most people who have done very well have this urge. There are many who have this urge for power. There's a very natural human instinct. There are many others who say, more than the power, I want the power to do good, to make the world a better place. I want my children to be better. And that's why society progresses. And that's the fundamental belief. While the pain drives all of us, the melancholy drives all of us, but what ultimately drives us is this power to do good. And of course, when you do that, you always ask the question at the end of some time, why are we doing this? That question too arises. Why can't you just sit back, relax, enjoy what you're doing and watch the world go by? Why waste energy doing a fruitless thing, banging your head against the wall and trying to change when change requires enormous energy and there's great resistance to change? That question too, one needs to answer. That the purpose of life is something that we need to discover for ourselves. We need to find answers for ourselves. There are no answers given by anybody. There are gurus and others, maybe philosophers like Hari, who agonize over to try to find an answer, but their answer is their personal answer. They can only be a guide for us, and all of us have to go on an individual journey. And in this journey, I would think the one great motivating fact which enhances our energy levels is the will to do good.